Well, tonight the KVUE Defenders continuing a conversation with Austin City Manager Spencer Cronk. As the city's chief executive, Cronk oversees daily operations in one of the nation's fastest growing cities. Tonight we're talking about another major public policy issue, homelessness. In 2019, the city council voted to end the ban on public camping, a move that made the city's homeless more visible. Then earlier this year, voters passed a proposition to reinstate the camping ban. Of course, state lawmakers also passed a law banning camping in public. Senior reporter Tony Polhetsky picks up part 2 of our conversation with the city manager.
Can you give us an update on the city's efforts really on 2 fronts? There's the enforcement of the camping ban, but also the effort to find housing for the unhoused.
Well, one thing I'll start out with saying is I'm very proud of the way in which our city departments and our community allowed us to compassionately but importantly enforce the reinstatement of the camping ban. So over the course of the summer, I think our community really did see a change in how that played out in both our streets and for those individuals experiencing homelessness, starting with the education and the outreach and ensuring that there were those resources that were available to those experiencing homelessness. We also had some critical efforts sponsored by our city council in terms of the HEAL initiative that allowed us to take encampments and move them into a bridge shelter. And so people did have a place where they could go. So over these last several months, we have seen a significant change in what people are experiencing and how they relate to people experiencing homelessness. This is a challenge that has been in our community for a long time and will never be at a place where we are satisfied with the outcome. This is something we have to consistently focus on and ensure that we're putting the appropriate amount of effort and resources towards.
With regard to clearing the encampments, though, where is the city in that process right now?
Yeah. Well, we certainly, as we have more resources available, we will offer those resources to people experiencing homelessness. We're looking at an assessment strategy because a lot of encampments have moved to less visible places, particularly in our parks. And so our homeless strategy officer is working with multiple departments, including our Office of Performance Management, to come up with a strategy and almost a criteria to say, how do we both identify the different encampments that are across our city, and then look at the risks and the resources that would be needed to clear them, if you will. So I think that is an ongoing effort. I think we constantly need to be committed to ensuring that we're addressing those that are most at risk for our community or those individuals experiencing homelessness. But it is something that's not going to change overnight, but certainly we are paying very close attention to how those encampments have now moved into places less visible.
So with regard to city money being spent to address homelessness, $65 million in this year's budget. Can you talk about how exactly that money will be spent, and also similarly accountability around those expenditures?
That's a great question, and I think it's an important one because we're also seeing additional resources that are coming from the federal government. And so not only are city dollars being used as they have been in the past to address and provide services for people experiencing homelessness, but we are seeing this once-in-a-generation opportunity with these one-time resources that are coming from the federal government. And we are taking advantage of that moment and really engendering not just the city, but our county partners and our nonprofit and for-profit partners to come up with a broader plan of what is it going to take to really move people from the streets into housing. And so the strategy that has been developed in part with our homeless strategy officer, but with many community partners, is the first step in that direction. But we can't just hold ourselves accountable to achieving those results. We have to make sure that others are holding the city accountable too.
In the third part of our conversation, we discuss Austin's rapid growth and affordability issues. Here, why Cronk says addressing those issues are crucial to the city's future. That's tomorrow night on KVUE at 6.